stop any other speculation. The answers are here. I know who Rey's parents are. Just about every theory I've seen regarding Rey's parents centers around either Luke Skywalker, Han and Leia, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Emperor Palpatine, cloning, or just the idea that she's an outright reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. So many people seem fixated on the original trilogy when this is a whole new trilogy with all new characters that eventually do need to move on from the originals. For some reason, so many people want so badly for Rey to be tied into characters from the original trilogy, while forgetting that trying too hard to shoehorn in tie-ins to the original trilogy was a major downfall of the prequel trilogy. The original trilogy, though, is not where the answer to Rey's parents lies. Along that same line of tie-ins, a lot of people have been fixated on the notion that Rey possibly has a brother that's a part of this new trilogy. And she does, but it's not Kylo Ren. Rey's brother is Poe Dameron. Rey's parents were a pair of Rebel Alliance fighters named Shara Bey, Poe and Rey's mother, and their father, Kez Dameron. Are these the parents you had hoped for? Maybe not, or just maybe not yet. I assume if you're still watching this video, you came here for real answers, rather than more of the obvious points of speculation that you can get anywhere else right now. So, it is only fair that I offer up to you the same info I got to come to this conclusion, and much of that can be pieced together with the 4-part comic series, Shattered Empire. So in a nutshell, Shattered Empire is 4 stories of the Rebel Alliance immediately after the Battle of Endor. It is canon and deals largely with the character Shara Bey, who is the mother of Poe Dameron, and in my belief, the mother of Rey as well. We are introduced to Kez Dameron a little bit as well, as he was a member of Han Solo's strike team against the shield generator for the second Death Star, but the bulk of Shattered Empire centers around covert missions that Shara Bey goes on with both Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker. The most important of these stories is the 4th and final book of Shattered Empire, in which Shara Bey personally accompanies Luke Skywalker on a covert mission to a heavily guarded Imperial facility to recon 2 remnants of the tree that once stood at the heart of the courtyard of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. These small trees are beaming with Force energy, just as the tree at the heart of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant once did so many years before, and the reason Luke values these so much is he plans to plant one of these trees at the heart of his new Jedi Academy. As the final book of Shattered Empire wraps up, Luke and Shara Bey make their dramatic escape from the facility, and on their way out, Shara Bey tells Luke that she's planning to retire from the Alliance soon and spend time with her husband and her young son, Poe Dameron, who she's barely seen over the last few years. Luke tells her that only one of these 2 Force trees has been accounted for, and in the final frames of the comic book, we see Shara Bey and Kez Dameron planting the Force tree outside their home on Yavin 4. So we have a couple of young parents that are living right next to a growing tree that is beaming with the power of the Force, giving credence to the notion that they could potentially produce another child that is very strong in the Force. Shara Bey, however, passes away 6 years after the Battle of Endor. We don't know how she dies, only that it was unexpected. But if Rey was a newborn child of hers at the time, that would put Rey at about 24 years old by the time of The Force Awakens. For context, Daisy Ridley herself is 23 years old. That's not all though. In the movie, we see 2 very important things in Rey's little home on Jakku. We see a doll of a rebel pilot and a small tree growing in a little pot. The doll is of Rey's mom, who is a well-respected pilot in the Rebel Alliance, and the tree is another offshoot of the Force tree, meaning that Rey has been slowly absorbing Force energy every night when she goes to bed in her own home. The only holes left to fill is the question of how things went wrong with Rey's family to where she ended up abandoned on Jakku, but that could be as simple as her and her father being on the run from remnants of the Galactic Empire, what with him being a former Rebel Alliance soldier, and rather than having Rey come along and risk getting killed with him, he ends up stashing her on Jakku temporarily and promising that he would come back eventually for her. Only he doesn't make it back. The only real drawback to this theory is that we don't actually know yet whatever happened to Kez Dameron. Regardless, this theory makes so much more sense than any of those involving characters from the original trilogy being Rey's parents. And given the Dameron's family connections to Han, Luke, and Leia, it's very possible that all 3 of them were aware of a potentially valuable girl who was lost so many years ago, they just don't know where she was lost, or if she's still alive. So now you have the information, you have the truth, and we can all just sit back and enjoy the ride as we watch this all play out. Now, obviously, before a reveal like this, they are definitely going to develop Poe's character a whole lot more, but that was probably going to be the case in the next film anyway. Drawing a parallel to the original trilogy, the characters of both Princess Leia and Darth Vader weren't developed much in the first film, but when Empire Strikes Back came along, we saw a much more in-depth side of both of them, to where when their connections with Luke were finally revealed, it meant that much more. And if all of this about Rey turns out to be true, we're going to see a similar development in this next movie with Poe Dameron. Anyway, that about covers it. If you feel like shedding the light of truth on all of your friends, please don't hesitate to share this video with them, and feel free to brag that you knew the truth before they did. If you have any thoughts on the video, please feel free to comment below. If you liked the video, click that little thumbs up button below. And as always, everybody, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you. Hey everybody, thank you again for checking out this video. If you want to see a couple other Star Wars videos of mine, check out the annotation link on the left for my reasons why Rey's parents are none of the characters from the original trilogy. And to the right, you can see my predictions for the fate of Kylo Ren. Thanks again for watching, everybody.